Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And on this video, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the one thing that keeps so many individuals trapped exactly where they are. So most individuals, if you notice and look around, there's not a lot of people that have achieved true financial independence or real independence all on their own. And this is a really big component because the true essence of being an adult is being independent. The ability to afford your own home, afford your own food, afford your own car, not ask anyone for anything, and still be able to provide for those that you love. That's an adult. That's the true independent power of a man or a woman. Being able to say F you to the world and do everything that you want. That's the essence of life. So many people can't do that. And I'll tell you guys exactly why. Because vast majority of people know what they have to do, but they don't do it. And they run from the responsibilities. So many people, you'll notice, distract themselves with a little bit of TV after work, a little bit of a drink at the evening bar, a little bit of a barbecue on the weekend. Not a lot of people bite that bullet and just directly attack these problems to be able to create the change for themselves in their life. So I tell you guys right now, don't run from the responsibility, because you're going to run from it for as long as you can until one day you can no more, and you're going to regret not starting sooner. And I tell you guys this because I did it while I was very young. I used to think my life was going to be living with my parents until I graduated college and I was successful, and I was always going to live with my parents, and I had no idea what the true world was about. Now, man, I got a true taste of it. And most people, while they're young in their 20s, they're going to live with their parents forever. They're going to be 26, 25, 27, almost 30 still with their parents because they don't address these changes. And let me explain this to you. This is very important because if you run away from the responsibility of creating more income, affording your own home, affording your own cost of living, when you do want to make the change, it's going to be 10 times harder. Let me explain to you why. Because if you adapt to change sooner, you become more experienced. So me at 23 years old, I'm responsible for paying the rent here on this apartment. It's $3,300 a month. It's a lot of money, right? But for the vast majority of people out there in the world, there's some individuals that are my age that already own 2 homes and paying $16,000 in mortgages because they have their investment property and then another one that they're renting. Different psychologies, different patterns that exist, and that's the realities. That's what you got to be conscious of. But the one thing that I'm very grateful in my situation is that I've exposed myself to this amount of responsibility, and it's extremely challenging. It's not easy, but if you sit and compare me to my cousins or my family members that are still stuck with their parents and probably won't see a change in their life for quite a few years if they don't change, I'm glad. I'm thankful, and it's because I didn't run from that responsibility. So despite me not being responsible enough to be able to achieve, I do admit to that. I'm very conscious that, I'm not performing at my fullest potential, and there is a lot of room for improvement, which is something that you guys all have to practice with yourself, which is accountability. You have to realize and reflect on yourself and really address it sometimes. So I am aware that, I can't go afford an own home and pay $9,000 for a mortgage on, let's say, 15,000 square foot of a property or something really massive, right? A $1 million home, let's say. So I know where I'm at, but I know where I was and how much I've improved, and you guys need to do that as well. See, if you think that life's just going to be rainbows and sunshine living with your parents, the day something happens to your parents or the day you actually want to grow up, you're going to be years of experience behind of learning to afford X amount for your cost of living. Wow. You could have just been building the whole entire time. So me now being responsible for or knowing what it feels like to have to pay $3.3K a month, it builds me a lot more than just that individual that is living with my parents and just enjoying that surplus of income. And it's extremely hard. It's not easy. This isn't something that, everyone can do. No, I feel like everyone can do, but it is challenging. It does take a lot of responsibility and a lot of, I guess you can say, accountability to change your situation, to adapt to that. So I share this with you guys because so many individuals aren't aware of what life has in store for them or what is coming for them. And I give you guys the fair warning because you guys have to adapt to that. If you stay comfortable leeching off your parents the second they need you, you will not be able to show up, man. And that's the sacrifice that a lot of us have to do for those that we love. You have to push yourself to exert that amount of mind power, determination to begin to create that ability of a provider for the people that you love. So don't run away from the responsibilities. Don't trick your mind to think, oh, that's too expensive, I'll never do it, or how am I, ever gonna be able to afford that? those are negative thoughts, and despite them creating enough emotion to probably paralyze you from even trying, it's one that you can overcome. It's difficult, sometimes hard to do when you don't have someone there to tell you you can do it, but it's what happens in life, and it's extremely possible. So don't run away from the responsibilities of being a provider or taking responsibility over your life. It's something that so many people do. It's very easy to do, but don't do it. You have to be accountable in your own life to create change. You have to be accountable for acquiring the education, acquiring the experience, and more importantly, doing the work that it takes to getting yourself to that position. Most successful individuals that are now business owners or entrepreneurs, they've never done those things in their life, but they did them enough times to build experience, get better at them, and then they created the change in their life, and now they live the dream that so many people ask themselves, how do they do it? See, your most famous brand owners or people that you guys glorify online as social media creators, they never knew how to do it, but they did it long enough until they created that change. And it's something that all of you guys are capable of. And I tell you guys this because that's for most my story. I've never done an e-commerce business. I never had to sell online products. I never had to market myself online. I never had to run my own sales team. I never had to do my own accounting. But I began experiencing all this at 23 years old. Now, is it easy? No, absolutely not. It's difficult. But I'm glad I'm doing it now at 23 than 25, 26. I made a lot of mistakes. Not everything's rainbows and sunshines. But I'm very glad I made these mistakes early on in my life to learn from them. And when I get that second chance, experience it and be a lot more mature when it comes back around the second time. And some people just never grow to that amount of responsibility or maturity to even learn these lessons. And that's the worst part about it, because the lessons are inevitable. Mistakes happen as humans, but are you going to make those mistakes when you're 30 or are you going to make those mistakes when you're 20? Those are huge differences in time that oftentimes are life or death for most people. So get out there, you know what I mean? Don't run from the responsibility of growing your own business, creating more income, getting yourself out there, taking that new opportunity. Do it, because once you do it, everything begins to change. Now you're building up you're developing yourself more personally to adapt. You're basically evolving. Evolution at its finest. Literally, it's borderline like, it's a change in your life that most individuals don't really go and see for themselves. And what it does for you, life changing. The belief that you begin to develop, the confidence you begin to develop, that is priceless. And that's what so many people got to learn to value. They have to learn to build this mind for themselves. They have to learn to be able to create these opportunities and view the world differently. View the world outside of all the distractions that are out there for us. In your early 20s, man, there's social media, there's the World Cup, all these little dilly-dally things, bro, that just noise. 3 years later down the line, you're like, whoa, what's happening? I'm still with my mom. Nothing's changing, man. I'm still doing the same thing. What am I going to do? That happens. So many people. Don't run away from that responsibility. Be determined. Be accountable for yourself every single day to pushing for that change. If there's something you really want to dedicate yourself to, do it. And don't tap out. Go in. Trickle. Tap it. Every single day, you're going to get the change that you're looking for. So, while you guys are young, man, don't run away from, oh man, I gotta move out one day. Mom trying to charge me rent, $800 a month. That's a lot, Mom. I don't have a job. I can't afford that. I don't have a car. You don't give me rides. All those little lame thoughts, man. People that just have the most piteous situations, man. You gotta adapt. You gotta grow a pair of cojones, man, and get out there and start pushing for something, bro. And I know a lot of people, they fall into that comfort. They get that enough to put a roof over their head, food on their table, enough to go out on a little date, and they draw the line. You draw the line there, you're done. You're done. You have to remain ambitious. There's a great quote out there from Grant Cardone that most people, once they start making $200,000, $250,000 a year, they slow down. They don't go push it further. Once you're making $250,000, you got the nice car, you got the nice house, you got the beautiful wife, you got the food on the table, you probably got the kids. What else do you want? So many people slow down. That's the shift. That's the difference. And that happened to me too. Like when I went from making $30,000 a year to $250,000 a year or $180,000 a year back in 2024, now 2025 I made $250,000, and then 2026 right now I'm at 75,000. That change, day and night. Day and night. That just amount of, bro, I finally got a vacation. I got to buy luxury things. Dude, this is right here. It's, not the most profitable investment, but it's a fucking $600 shirt, bro. Most people don't care. They'll never notice it. But yeah, bro, it changes life. You get oh man, what used to be a lot becomes a little bit. And guess what? The mind shapes itself differently. Begins to adapt to different perspectives. And that's what you have to do. That's what you're responsible giving yourself, because no one's going to come do it for you. I hate to tell you that, but it's not going to happen. No one wants more change in your life than you do for yourself. And it's extremely difficult. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But you have to realize that once you're all in this all by yourself and you're responsible for what happens in the outcome of your own life, dude, trying will never be the bad thing. If you fail, get back up, try it again. You're going to be forgotten anyways. When you fail and you call that one salesperson, they tell, that one sales call, you try to grow your business, or you try to ask that one person to promote it, or if they want to buy it, do you think that person's going to remember you a month from later? No. They scroll. They're mindless. They're drinking. They're smoking. They're in La La Land. They don't care about you. But guess what? If you call them and they say, yeah, you won. Boom. Provide the products. Stay consistent. Amazing. You grew a new opportunity. Maybe you do good by their side. Word of mouth comes in. Now you get another opportunity. But if you miss and they say, no, I'm not interested, on to the next. They're not going to remember you, bro. I can go and blow my brains out right now. Does anyone care about me? Does anyone gonna stop and think, oh, whatever happened to that guy? Nope. The world goes on. People have bills to pay, families to feed, things to do. They're not worried about you, bro. So don't be afraid of trying. Don't be afraid of getting out there, asking people, hey, can you promote my business? Hey, do you want to buy my business? I'm having this new upcoming event, or I'm trying to start this sale. Do you mind helping me? They tell you no, guess what? On to the next, baby. There's millions out there. You think I need you? F no. Let's get it. You know what I mean? And a month from now, 3 months from now, you think they give a shit about you? Hell no. They don't care. They don't want to see you win. They don't even want to see themselves win, bro. So get your head in the game. Adapt to that responsibility of being a provider, putting that roof over your head, buying that first house, building that $50K a month business, being that fucking guy, you know what I mean? Grab it by the neck. Not a lot of people are capable of that. But that's what separates winners and losers, baby. What do you want to be? What do you want to say your last name was? What do you want to do when you're there on that ground about to be buried? What the F did you do, bro? Did you really get anything done? Were you that guy? You know what I mean? Too many people, that's going to be their story. When lights are out, because their own mind tricked them to never do anything, done. You can't have that story for yourself. Not everyone deserves to afford that loss, or that's what they did with existence. And I tell you guys this because no one told me yet. I don't have a mom. I don't have a dad. I don't have a big brother. I don't have this successful individual looking over me like some sort of God wanting to see me win. No one is there for me. No one has ever sat down and talked to me like this. But guess what? This is my internal monologue. This is what I tell myself to keep myself showing up for myself every day, getting after it every day, making these videos despite 3 people only watching them. That's what it takes, bro. A belief in yourself that no one else is ever going to give you. That's what separates winners, losers, believers, non-believers, achievers, non-achievers. Most people don't see that, but I hope this video is able to help you guys. Take that responsibility and be accountable for your life, because if you're not, trust me, bro, you're going to live the next 5 years just like you lived the last 5. Nothing's going to damn change, bro. So good luck. I wish all of you guys the very best. Let's get after it, baby. Let's go. Jerry Trades, the SoCal Trading Group, the one and only, over and out.